Farther up Forest Road 23, we reach Spider Lake. There's a loop trail that circles the lake, offering quiet forest scenery and calm views of the water. It's a peaceful break from driving and a great place to stretch the legs before continuing on.
Hey, we just pulled off Forest Road 23 there, and we are at the edge of Spider Lake. There's a trail down to it, and it definitely goes down. So I'm going to take a trip down here and see how this is. A lot of loose rock on this one, so I'm going to be careful going down it. It's a little steep. Sure, with some snow melt or some heavy rainfall, there might be a creek that goes through here. You can kind of see a little bit of remnants of it, but there's definitely nothing going through it right now. Not too far down the trail. Yeah, it was steep at first. I just continued straight. There's a trail that was going off to the right back there, but here's the lake. Here's a little stream you can hear, a little bridge over it. There is a stream under there that you can hear. I certainly enjoy these mountain lakes where they're so quiet. It is a loop trail, and there's Devin over there. Hi guys, we'll keep going this way. There is a significant amount of trees left over in the lake.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I'm gonna head down this way. Trail keeps going off to the left, but I want to go down to the edge of the water here, where rocks are being thrown into it. That is certainly some super clear water. Look at that. Spider Lake here on the southern part of the Olympic Mountains. Other than the rocks being thrown in the water by fellow hiking companions, it's pretty quiet. I'm not sure why there would be so many stumps here. Some of them do look like they were cut down ages ago, but why? Doesn't seem like your typical man-made lake. But I've never seen so many stumps in a lake in the mountains like this. So the wind just picked up a little bit. It was pretty smooth, but right there, if I zoom in a little bit at a time, you can see a stump down there and just how clear the water is. So I can just give you an idea of that. Yeah, as the wind dies down a little bit, you can see it. And following Spider Lake a little bit here, just along the trail. It's been a pretty easy stroll here, just a little bit up and down. The trail's pretty well maintained. Not a whole lot of views of the lake except for where we were at a few minutes ago. But we're gonna see where and how it loops around. As I've been hiking along Spider Lake here, the loop trail around it, this is, I mean, you see old ones where they cleared it a long time ago. But for being a trail along a lake, even out in the middle of the mountains here, this is pretty well maintained. So we have a nice log bridge up and over what could be a creek, but I think right now there's just nothing coming out. So that's heading out Spider Lake. And so if there was any kind of extra overflow to it, so right now I think it's just a pretty stagnant lake. There's nothing coming in and nothing really going out. So once you get some snowfall and some more rainfall, or snow melt really, then But again, being a trail out in the middle of the mountains here, like I was saying, is pretty well taken care of. It's pretty clear. You see a lot open like this is. It's not overgrown. You see that on some of the more common trails sometimes that aren't too far away from town, where you'll see them really overgrown. So it's just pretty good. This has been a nice hike. I'm sure this goes back towards Forest Road 23. It was a little further up the road from where we came down. So I think we're gonna head this way to do the full loop around the lake on the other side of it. Yeah, I just noticed that there is a sign here. So if you did come in from the way behind me, it seems like there's a trailhead up there for Spider Lake Loop. And certainly it's telling you that you can go one way or the other. So we just came from that way. We're gonna head over that way. There were some creeks potentially coming out of the hills that way. I'm pretty sure they're dried up and there's nothing coming down them, but we're gonna go around that way on the loop anyway and find out. As we're hiking along, we see a few of these semi-culverts that they have on the trail, kind of help the water when it's flowing down out of the side of the hills over here and just flowing wherever it feels like. Oh, just go straight out to the lake without messing up the trail. This is more of a actual potential creek, if there were one, right? Going through, and the tiniest of bridges, maybe when there was some water, but you could just hop right over that. And in case you need to take a break, sort of a natural bench of sorts. A nice little seat that they left a piece of log here. Looks like it's been here for some time. It's always fascinating to see just how big of trees are out here. And it's not the redwoods or sequoias or anything, but that one's dead. You can see it may come down at some point, right? But you see one back there that's dead too. It looks like it snapped off in some wind or something. But then you look across over at this one here, the things are just massive. Although I was just mentioning that this isn't the redwoods, and the size of the trees that are in here, some of them try to rival a redwood tree. But this trail actually reminds me of walking through the redwood forest. Just the surrounding atmosphere of it. I now hear some water. So we're from the other side of the lake. We were wondering if there was any water coming down out of the hills. I was pretty convinced, just guessing, that there was going to be none just because of how dry it is. Right now, it's the beginning of July, July 3rd, that is. We're just out exploring the mountains and hiking along the trails. Ooh, a bridge up here, going over it, and I can definitely hear that water. But from the other side, it didn't look like any water was flowing into Spider Lake. But we've got a little bit of a creek. Not much, but through there is Spider Lake somewhere. It's so thick right now, you can't see anything. And it's so thick right here, you can only hear the water on this side. You can barely see it flowing through under there. But that ravine in between the hills coming down there. So we venture on. I can't promise that this will be the last video I take of a big tree, but this one has an interesting perspective because not only is it big right there, but it goes way up there, and just how much of it is still there. Walking on this side of the lake, we have not been able to see it because of all that thick brush back there, but now we're getting a glimpse of it again. You can see it reflecting in the sun. Whereas there have been some trees they've cut down that you could sit on, they actually put a bench right here. Let's take a view sitting down on it. How do you beat sitting here on such a quiet, somewhat sunny, nice day out in the middle of the mountains? All right, this is the trail. So the other side, definitely a lot better maintained. This side gets a little thick, but with how fast things grow, that's not too surprising. Oh, this one's got to go up a little bit of a switchback then. Yeah. The nice easy stroll that we were having along the lake has come to an end, as we just had to switch back. And now, well, let's see how it goes. Not climbing too high, but we'll see how it goes. Hey, we are still on this other side of Spider Lake. It's been up and down. We just went down quite a bit. This one has a little bit of a creek. You couldn't even hear it. But this one's a little ways down. But of course, a nice railing. Hold on to. You can see a little bit. I'll zoom in there. You see the smallest amount of water flowing through. Kind of hear it. Very, very, very little. You see a little bit down there. Yep, flowing through there. So we got a little ways away from Spider Lake. Panther Lake, I don't know what I'm thinking. So yeah, see the clearing over there? That is the lake. And we're about around to the other end of it to complete the loop. So we're getting pretty close. Hey, this one's a little surprising to me because it seems like through this ravine here, this is where water would flow through and we'd have a bridge here, because it goes down even more and straight out to the lake, which is not too far away. You can kind of see where it's clear right there. But maybe nothing flows through here. But we are back to where we went straight here and looped around. And now we're going to head back up to where we parked. Right now, if it focuses, my watch is saying we went 2.11 miles and mosey our way for about an hour. So back up, and there we go.